Alright, this episode brought out the strongest tinfoil in me, and I have so many crazy theories. Now, before I get into all the things that I absolutely loved about this episode, because there were plenty of things, I just want to start off by talking about the opening scene. So dumb. I don't know why, but the CGI of Rios' ship versus Narek's ship was so bad. And not in the cool Star Trek bad where you see these two obvious model ships fighting each other in space. It was bad where you knew they were trying to make it look really good, but it just looked so bad. It looked so bad. I laughed at how bad it was, and that is not a good thing. With technology nowadays and special effects in CGI, the ship battle should not have looked that bad. It's crazy when I can go watch Star Trek The Next Generation and think that their fights in space looked a lot fucking better. So, not sure what was going on with that, but it was like watching a video game cutscene, but one that was poorly done. Because you can't even say nowadays that cutscenes in video games are bad, because some of them are so good. It was a bad video game cutscene. What's going on, CBS? I know you're pulling in a lot of money. I've seen your reports. Fix that shit. Next thing, I love Rios. He is an absolutely charming character. His actor is just so wonderful. I know we give him a cigar to make him even more charming and roguish. It's kind of stupid when he's trying to survive. When he just has it in his mouth, I'm like, okay, whatever, even though we never see him puff smoke. But when he's holding it and doing the controls, dude, just put the fucking cigar down. I get you're trying to be like a cool rogue type character, but this is getting a little weird. Just put the fucking cigar down. Or at least show us some fucking, like, puff out some cool shit. I don't know, it just got to a point where I was distracted by the cigar in Rios' mouth, and I was thinking, dude, it's time to stop. It's time to get help. Also, I absolutely love that Agnes was not in the plan and had no idea what was going on, and she's like, please let this be over, please let this be over, and then was like, hey, why aren't we at the deep space station? Oh, I'm not under arrest anymore? Alright. Speaking of stupid, the Borg cube coming out of nowhere and Rios basically breaking the fourth wall and saying that's unexpected. I know it was supposed to be a super epic moment, like, oh my goodness, the Borg cube came out. I just laughed. Like, it was just so ridiculous. Speaking of laughing, though, when the bogies come out from the planet and Rios asks Rafi, what are they like? And she goes, okay, they're like flowers? Laughed my ass off in a good way. So that's an example of laughing in a good way. I thought she delivered that line perfectly. Just, what are those bogies? Okay, they're like flowers? And then, of course, they were actually flowers, orchids that came and swallowed the ships, but that was pretty hilarious. I actually really liked Picard this episode, him giving advice, wisdom to Soji, where Soji wanted them to just fuck Narex, fuck that guy. And Picard's like, hey, there's a difference between attacking an enemy and watching a wounded one die. And it's kind of scary in setting up with Soji that she has to be told those things, where I guess you could say she has the android logic of, he's my enemy, he's tried to kill me, why would I spare him? Why wouldn't I just let him die so then I don't have an enemy anymore? And Picard is trying to let her know, like, hey, maybe it's not that black and white. I thought it was a lot of fun to see the old school tricorder diagnosing Picard, Agnes using it, and also him finally letting the cat out of the bag and saying, yeah, okay, I'm starting to show symptoms of this disease. It's going to kill me. If any of you treat me like a dying man, I'm going to be pissed. That's the Picard I feel like I know. So I know the showrunner said we shouldn't expect to see old Picard anymore, and this Picard is the Picard we should expect to see, but I kind of feel like this episode really brought forth the Picard we all know from the Next Generation. I don't know. I guess that's just my point of view on it. Oh man, the fear Picard had when they decided to go to the Borg ship. By the way, I really liked their journey when they left Rios's ship and they all had their backpacks on and they were ready to go. There was something about the music and maybe just the camera work that I thought was really beautiful and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But when they actually got to the Borg cube and one of the XBs said Locutus, and the look on Picard's face was just that of pure fear of, oh shit, what did I wander into? But then when we see Elnor, and he just gave, I love absolute candor. Just Elnor rushing to Picard and hugging him and just openly expressing his emotions. Also, Picard saying that he's very, very proud of him was so heartwarming. Did you guys like the Voyager theme music that started when we saw 7 of 9 knocking the bodies down? That was kind of cool. I'm gonna admit, they've used nostalgia throughout this series, and it's pretty much worked every time. At least on me. I also like Picard saying to 7 after she said, keep saving the galaxy, Picard, and him going, that's on you now. Basically passing on to the next generation, which, you know, we should always be doing. We should be instilling in the next generation of people, hey, this is how to keep things going, and it's now your responsibility. And I don't think we're doing that as much anymore. But I liked Picard saying that, and even 7 getting super emotional. Ooh, speaking of emotional, Raffi saying, I love you, Picard. And Picard, like, freaking out, and her going, you don't have to say it back. And he's like, oh, okay. He's just so uncomfortable, and it was so cute. And then him finally saying back, I love you too, Raffi, was just, I don't know. I thought it was super cute. Alright, let's go to the android utopia. I actually really miss that aesthetic that we saw there. Nowadays, the future is always so grungy and dark and just gritty. And this was the utopia I'm used to in Star Trek, where it's colorful and everything just looks beautiful. And I really miss that, honestly. I get how everything is scary, and so we project that into things. In our stories about the future, we want it to be dark and gritty, and it's nice to see something in the future that isn't like that, even though it did spiral into that with, oh, fuck organics. But for the moment, it was nice to see that kind of future. Really, the entire android society was really cool to see. I love seeing the different versions, those that had Data's eyes versus those that had more human, organic eyes. I think all of it. Of course, they're in pairs, twins, because we already were told that's how they're created. It's always in twos. Now, Alton's song. His initials are A.I. Sung. Do any of us believe him that he's human? I mean, did you watch this episode and see all his actions and not think, oh, that's lore? He just has a new body that he created. Especially with him showing the thing about the golem and all that. I'm more than sure he wants all people, all organic beings to have an android body, and the golem is part of doing that, putting your consciousness, a human, Vulcan, Romulan consciousness, whatever, into an android body is what he's building towards. He wants everyone, again, to be an android. I have a hard time believing his first name starts with an A, his middle name starts with an I. A.I. Song. He has to be. I would be willing to bet a lot that he is lore and he is in a more squishy body. He also drew too much attention to, oh yeah, not all of us are machines on this planet. And then him saying, oh, my father had me, but he created Data, and he never let me forget that. And Lore definitely was the, I guess, I want to say the redheaded stepchild. That hits a little too close to home, but it was the favorite child compared to Lore. Though I don't doubt at all that some of the androids on this planet have parts of Data's positronic brain. I don't doubt that. I don't think that they're 100% from Lore. I do think Data definitely has some influence in there. By the way, Spot 2 being an android is the best kind of fan service, so pretty cool, thanks. Kind of a side note, why are all songs just basically mad scientists? Is that just in their genetics that they're all just a little crazy? Because I feel like that's a thing. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Agnes. Why is Rio still into Agnes? You know she killed her last lover. I understand it was under some pretty weird circumstances, but I just don't get Rios being totally into her. Oh, there was no one like you, Agnes. Oh, I still want to fuck you again, Agnes. Dude, Rios. I don't get that. I love Rios. I don't get why he's so into Agnes, and I have a feeling Agnes's consciousness is going to be put into a golem or something like that. I'm actually still surprised that the Maddox she killed wasn't an android. I thought for sure we were going to see a Maddox on the planet. So that was a bit shocking. Narix, man, fuck that guy. I have a hard time believing that he actually was in love with Soji. And I kind of agree with her, how pitiful that you love something and then you were willing to kill it, and all his bullshit excuses. I don't know if maybe I'm just jaded as a human being, but I don't believe he actually loves her. Even though we're led to believe in this series that everybody knows that he loves her. Maybe if they would have built it up a bit more, but I don't know, I don't see it. Although hot Soji, or I think her name is Sutra, long-haired Soji with Data skin, so fucking hot. Oh my god, I did not think Soji could get any hotter. And then seeing that version of her, I'm more than sure Narx was like, wow, I am like confused, aroused right now with you threatening my life, but at the same time needing me. This is getting a little confusing. Because if I was a dude, I'd have a confused boner too with her. Absolutely. I'd just be like, I don't know what's going on right now. Now, if we're going under Vulcan, I guess, sayings, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, the androids are a lot less than all the other organic life in the galaxy. So when Soji was going, I don't know the calculus of death versus life and sacrifice. Well, I mean, if you're looking at mathematics and you're just trying to be cold, and I know Picard was trying to say it really depends on who's holding the knife, but if they're really looking at the mathematics of it, organic life would outweigh the androids. There's just billions of more organics than androids. So I don't understand the mathematic argument. I understand the argument of why shouldn't androids be able to live and be treated any differently. And I definitely do not subscribe to the view of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And in quite a few circumstances, I don't like the idea of sacrificing a species so other species can live. I think that's pretty fucked up. But if we are just looking at the math of it, like Soji was saying, the androids are in the wrong. I think overall, though, both organics and the androids are in the wrong in that they should not be trying to wipe each other out. They should be trying to coexist. The problem is, if you just look at Earth, anytime Homo sapiens have had competition, we fucking murder them. We have a really hard time coexisting. So the idea of trying to coexist, it's like they said, anytime organics created synthetic life and they saw that they didn't age, they didn't have disease, they just kept going, it became fear and then they were destroyed. It's absolutely what would happen. I mean, look at us. Not even sci-fi fantasy, just look at us on our planet. We can't fucking get along with each other. We're the same species and we can't stop killing each other and discriminating and being like, well, you talk this way, or you like this type of music, or you dress like this. Fuck you. I don't like you. So how would we ever get along with any other species? Unless they're subservient to us, like cats and dogs, we don't. And there's a reason why a lot of people call cats assholes, because they're not as subservient as dogs are. So therefore they're assholes. It's like, nope, they're just independent creatures that want to live their own life, and they're not at your beck and call 24/7. Doesn't make them assholes. Kind of makes you a shallow asshole for thinking they should be. I completely understand, but I kind of think the admonition is playing both sides, both the android and organic side, of saying, oh, you need to destroy synthetics because if you don't, there's a threshold and it'll come and destroy us all. And then with the organics, they're saying, oh, hey, yeah, if you call on us, we're going to come and wipe out all the organics. I honestly think there is a species that is playing both sides and really doesn't care about either side. Because if there is this higher form of synthetics that are waiting for the call, there's a lot they could have done in the meantime. They could have made sure that organics didn't become dominant in the galaxy. They could have kept creating their own synthetic life. There's a lot they could have been doing for them just to be like, oh, hey, we're just gonna disappear into this other dimension, and then if you need a synthetic life here, just give us a call. I know this is tinfoily. I just have this feeling that they are going to use the message, they're going to beam the signal, and they're going to bring in this species that does not give a shit about either side, and the synthetics and organics are going to have to unite to beat this threat that is going to be against everything in their galaxy, in the universe. And if we're going by Star Trek lore, it would not be the first time a species from a different dimension decided, I'm just gonna wipe everyone out in this galaxy. That seems to be a normal thing for Star Trek lore. So I guess my great tinfoily theory is, whatever species is waiting for the signal wants androids and organics to wipe each other out, and they are waiting for that moment to come back. Could be completely wrong, probably. Doesn't matter. Just my crazy tinfoil theories. You can let me know what your crazy theories are down below. Do you think we're actually seeing lore? Do you think that Alton is who he says he is? Like, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section down below. Just let all your crazy out.